Hi folks, so I've just uploaded another video I did today. Like I say, I'm trying to stay consistent, trying to keep my channel up to date, and try to keep you guys up to date on what I'm doing and all the rest of it. So like I say, today I was at SHP, Single Homeless Project. Like I say, I do voluntary work there, peer mentor stuff, and I was doing the intuitive recovery course, which I've already done, but I'm doing it again anyway, because it's really good stuff. Really like it. And the title of the video that I just put up, interestingly, I said having a good day in spite of feeling bad, because for the last, I don't know, good few months anyway, I would say, probably a little bit longer, when I look back on it and think about it, I've been really, I don't know if depressed is the right word. It certainly feels very familiar and feels very much like depression to me. But I don't think to the point of depression, of suicidal depression, or depression where it's definitely depression. There's no two ways about it, because it's lasted more than just for a couple of days or something. It's been like this for a good few months. But like I say, you see, with me, I don't take any medication for my depression. I am diagnosed with depression, by the way. That's part of my diagnosis. But I don't like taking medication, full stop. So for the most part, what I try to do is I try to just work through it as best I can. And more often than not, I manage. I don't manage absolutely brilliantly all the time, but I do reasonably well. I manage to keep it in check and keep, I must admit, a lot of the time I stick a brave face on. So to the outside world, to the public, and even on here, if I'm honest about it, because like I say, I want to try and keep my channel positive anyway. I don't want to give out a negative, I don't want to do negative stuff, you know what I mean, really. And I don't mean like negative as in horrible, nasty, I mean just depress. I don't want to depress people. And I don't, it's not about getting the little violin out and go, poor me and all that lot, because that doesn't help me either. I don't want that, you know what I mean? And that's why I try to surround myself and be with positive people. I want to be around people that are positive, forward thinking, want to do something with their lives, aspire to be something, to aspire to do stuff. I want to be around people like that, because the thing is, for me, if I end up being around people that are always down, gloomy and really depressed and so forth, that doesn't mean to say that I don't want to help people who feel that way either. It's just that obviously I have to be very mindful of my own stuff, as it were, because otherwise my depression will feed into that and and blah blah blah. Anyway, so like I said, the thing is that for me, I generally put a brave face on it, and sort of just trudge through. Now I'm not saying that that's necessarily the best way of dealing with it, and I'm not saying that this would work as a way for everybody or whatever, blah blah blah. It's just that for me, like I say, I don't want to get reliant on medication. I don't want to be ended up having to take pills for the rest of my life or something. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to do that. I just don't. You know what I mean? It's not me, and I know I can get on top of it, and that most of the time, well, I say most of the time, it's just recently it's been really hard. But yeah, I guess generally most of the time I can stay on top of it. You know what I mean? And and I have better days than worse days, if you like. I can still feel down and depressed and all the rest of it, but there's a balance there, if you like. There's a bit of a healthy balance, because it's not always necessarily like that all the time, but it's always under the surface, as it were. But just lately, like I say, it has got quite a lot more difficult to keep that brave face on and to keep positive and to to keep putting one foot in front of the other. But today was a really good day. Felt so much more positive. Still had all that, there was still a lot of negativity around. There's still, not from other people, in my own head I'm talking about. There's still a lot of negativity. There's still a lot of sort of like feeling really heavy. That there's a saying, isn't there, where they say like you feel heavy in the heart, sort of thing. Your heart feels heavy or whatever. It's that sort of dull, sort of really hard to motivate yourself, really hard to get out of bed sometimes, or even go to bed. Actually, for me, tends to be the opposite way around for me. Really, it's not. Interestingly, I don't sleep a lot. I tend to stay up all hours. You know what I mean? I maybe get 2 or 3 hours sleep a day, possibly. Sometimes a bit more. All depends. I mean, sometimes I fall asleep in this chair when I'm watching stuff on YouTube. I'll be that tired. But like I say, so I've completely lost the thread of where I was going. Sorry. Yeah. So. Is a sense of like heaviness and not wanting to do stuff and not really being motivated and feeling very negative about my future prospects and what's going to happen and what might or might not happen. Well, like I said, the thing is that sometimes you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I don't know, maybe I'm reaching that. I think sometimes what happens with me is I go in these peaks and troughs sort of thing. So sometimes I'll be kind of like, on a crest, and then I'll start going down for a little while. And then sometimes it'll plateau out, and it'll be like that for a little while, and then I can go back up again. And then, there'll be maybe a little plateau, and then it'll go back down again. So it's kind of like that a little bit. And so yeah, today was, like I say, it was a much better day because like I say, I was doing lots of different things and feeling more positive, and although the negativity was trying to get in there, started to feel a little bit better about myself. But the thing is that it's very, it fluctuates all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's constant. It's hard to keep that momentum of feeling positive going a lot of the time. So, but like I say, I also get tired of being tired. Right. Okay. I didn't really intend to do that or talk about that necessarily. So I have really started to feel really tired again, and the heat in this house doesn't help. Right, okay. Well, I'm going to leave the video there. Don't know what else to do. Although I'm saying that, and then something else pops into my head, and I'm thinking, like I said before, I'm still in the process of doing this day in the life of. And it won't be doom and gloom. Believe me, it won't be doom and gloom. And I don't know, I will be feeling better. Cat's come back in. And you can't see him, he's there. He's going to his food bowl. Right, okay. I'm going to leave it there for now, and I'm going to leave you with a picture that I took of myself at the Dragon Cafe, not today, a while back now, because I used to go to the Dragon Cafe quite regular at one time, and then I stopped going, not because I didn't like it anymore or anything, it's just that Well, I'm like that, me. You know, I do things for a little while, and then eventually I get bored or fed up or whatever, and want to do something different. Anyway, so but I took I took loads of photographs whilst I've been at the Dragon Cafe. Um, yeah, I forgot to leave a description in the. I just remembered. I might have to do that actually. When I upload this video, when you watch the video previous to this, I've just realised I did say in that video that I was going to put the link to the Dragon Cafe in the description box and completely forgot. So my apologies. I will try to remember to do it in this one. I will put the Dragon Cafe's website link in the description box. But I'm going to show you this picture because it's on. I've got it as my wallpaper on my screen, and it's just interesting because when I took that picture, it's about 2 years old. That picture, I think, give or take, about 2 years old, maybe 18 months. Not sure exactly. No, is it 2 years? Anyway, whatever it is, it's definitely over a year. And now that, when I look at that picture, and I can remember that picture very well, and I remember the reasons why I took that picture. I remember how I was feeling when I took that picture. And it's funny because, like, that picture kind of, when I look at it, is exactly how I feel now, kind of thing. That same depressive, what's the point, what's the use, I feel so tired, I feel so fed up, my life's going nowhere, blah 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 blah, you know, and sometimes lots of other negative thoughts that I'm not going to repeat on here. And you know, I look at that photograph and it's funny because, you know, it reminds me of how I was feeling back then, and that helps me then to mirror, if you like, or to compare how I felt then when I took that picture to compare to how I feel now, and are there differences? Was it as intense back then as it is now? Sometimes that's not easy to do because sometimes to try and remember a feeling from a few years back or whatever, sometimes your memory will be coloured by not necessarily just the memory of that time or whatever, but also the fact of how you're feeling right in the moment. At least that's my belief anyway. That, you know, you can remember something, and you know, if you're feeling pretty down anyway, and you try to remember, even if I think maybe even if you were trying to remember a good time, you know, somebody takes you back and says like, oh, remember when you was at the beach, you know, 2 years ago, and you were having a great time, and you were really really happy, and da da da, and blah blah blah. And someone might try and remind you of that time, sort of thing, when you're feeling really really low and really at a low ebb and all the rest of it. You probably will remember it, but chances are you'll remember more of the negative side of it, if there was any. Do you know what I mean? If there's even the slightest little, oh, it started to rain afterwards, or whatever it might be, you know, you'll find that you'll remember more of that than you'll remember of the actual enjoyment and great time that you had, sort of thing. You'll remember, and so your memory, even though you might sort of, I find that you don't reconnect so much with that happy moment, that happy emotions. Do you know what I mean? When somebody reminds you of that time or whatever, you see a photograph that reminds you of that time on the beach, where I say beach because, I don't know, holiday, sunny, warm, you know, fun time generally. So, you know, either somebody reminds you of it or you see a picture of it, and you're looking at it when you're feeling really, really low or down or whatever. Personally, I think what happens is that your memory of that particular moment and your connection or reconnection to that emotion that you felt at that moment, I think is coloured by the emotions you're feeling right in that moment, right now, sort of thing. So as you're looking at that picture and you're feeling really, really sad and down, I don't think you connect the same with that emotion because you're already feeling quite depressed and down anyway. So the fact is that I'm looking at that picture knowing that I felt more or less as I've been feeling over these last few months, but thinking to myself, did it feel the same way? Does this feel worse? Did that feel worse? And kind of like can I learn from how I felt back then to how I'm feeling now, and can I do something different compared to how I dealt with it back then? If that makes any sense at all to anybody, because even I was struggling to understand my own logic around that, to be quite honest. So, right, I'm going to leave you with the picture because I've waffled on enough. Right, cheers, thanks again, and catch you soon. Bye for now.